Hi there, welcome to Homekeepers. Come right on in, my friend. Hope you're having a wonderful day. This is a good day in Central Florida, although, boy, have we had rain recently. And I think a lot of us are ready to just take a little break from it, but thank God, you know, it was getting very dry here, and so the rain came and came and came and came. Probably you've had a few interesting weather patterns where you are, because I watch a lot of news, and it's been a little crazy this year. But I'm glad you're with us. Hope things are going well for you. And I think you'll be glad you tuned in today, because I have a guest who will present something we've never had on here before. Her name is Rebecca Hamilton, and she is a candidate for judge of a circuit court here in Pinellas County, Florida. And I don't think we've ever had a judge, and we've never had a candidate for a judge. I'm counting on her to kind of educate all of us. To me, when you get the ballot, there's a mystery about those judges. You know nothing about them. I've left that part where I didn't even vote. I didn't vote for the wrong person, but they don't tell you anything about them. Maybe she can shed a little light on this, but she has a great background in law and in practicing family law and criminal law and all, and now she's stepping out, and her credentials say she is qualified. So you'll meet her in just a few minutes. I'm going to join Stephanie. We're going to make a crustless blueberry pie, but this program is a fountain of information. And Susan told us it's also called a buckle. Never heard of that, but she pulled it up on her phone, and it's actually in Betty Crocker's cookbook. So now you know something new. Before I join her, though, let me remind you, we're viewer-supported, and we'll put the address and the phone number up on the screen for your support. We are so grateful. And you can do it with a debit card, credit card, by calling the number 1-800-229-0059, or the address there, and we thank you so very much. There's no gift too small, and there's no gift too large. Isn't that correct?
Correct.
Mm-hmm. So did you learn about the buckle?
I did. I've never heard of that before, and it's pretty much the exact same recipe.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah. Well, maybe we can get a little more history into that. But do you ever have a problem when you're voting on the judges?
Oh, most definitely. Yeah. I try to do my research, but
it's very hard to research a judge, unless I guess you would try to find out their opinions on everything that they've written, and not very many of us will do that or even know how. What shall I do?
Okay, so I'll have you mix the dry ingredients. A cup of flour. We cut the sugar back a little bit. 3/4 cups of sugar, a teaspoon of cinnamon, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. This is all you, not this. Okay, don't take that.
I don't go that. Okay.
Yeah, okay. I have a 1/2 stick of butter melted, and we let it cool just a little bit so we can put 2 eggs in there and not make scrambled eggs. So
of course, you know, apparently this isn't new. When I see a recipe like this, I think, what innovative mother or grandmother tried this?
I have a teaspoon of vanilla and the best smelling almond extract, a teaspoon.
Oh yeah, they should make perfume out of that.
Yes. Actually, we could just dab a little bit of that on. There we go. Okay, so you did the dry. This is just so super simple. Now, I will tell you, you're supposed to have 2 cups of blueberries. Yeah, we didn't. We ran out a little bit, so we only have 1 cup. So yours is going to look much more blueberry-er. Okay?
Yeah, it'll appear to have a lot more in it.
Yeah. So I'm just going to mix the wet. Thank you. I'm going to mix the wet and the dry, and I'm going to fold in the blueberries. It's a pretty thick batter. I'm going to put it in a pan that you're going to spray for me, a pie pan.
Haven't you noticed, though, there's a lot of new innovations in cooking. I think when I was growing up, there was everything that was just kind of standard.
Oh, yeah. No, I got one of the Instapots.
What's that?
I cooked chicken from frozen to shreddable chicken in 12 minutes. Yeah.
In what?
In an Instapot.
Is it like a pressure?
Yes, exactly. But it's a newfound pressure cooker. Yep. So talk about new stuff. You can cook ribs in there. I mean, it's roast. It's crazy. Okay, I'm folding in blueberries. I'm going to put it in the pie pan, and then we're going to put fresh blueberries over the top and a little bit of sugar, and then you bake it
Yes, and you didn't have to roll it out?
No, bake it at 350 for about 40 minutes. Look at that.
Isn't that
And again,
gorgeous?
yours is going to be a little more blueberryer because we cut back on the blueberries because we didn't have enough. And no one felt like going shopping evidently.
That's a good reason to cut back.
So we're just going to spread this out.
And
It
so
looks really good. It's supposed to call it was called a crustless blueberry pie, and I thought, well, let's just call it crust with a little bit of blueberry because that's what but we're going to call it a buckle.
But when I first looked at it, I thought you might be picking it up with a spoon, but look how
Oh,
nice
no,
that
that's
cuts.
nice.
And of course, a scoop of whipped cream or ice
So I
cream
put
wouldn't
blueberries
hurt.
over the top. I'm just going to put a little bit of sugar over the top. 350, 40 minutes.
Yeah, it cooks a little longer than I thought it would.
Make sure the center, just, make sure the center is done. So good?
That is so similar to a really good blueberry pie. Why go to all the trouble?
Why?
You want to try it?
I do not, thank you.
Shall we tell them why?
Because I cried on the scale last week, that's why.
But she doesn't have the discipline she needs.
It's
because
not the discipline. I will never turn down my dad's spaghetti. And I went to Tennessee last weekend. My dad made spaghetti. I'm going to eat it. And then I'll cry when I come back and I'll start all over again.
And she put a plate of it on Facebook, and it was a pretty big plate.
I said, for those of you who knew I cried on the scale, just shut your mouth. No.
I wonder how many of our viewers have ever cried on the scale.
It was ridiculous. It really
I think
was.
probably a lot of us. Okay, if you want this recipe, it's called a crustless blueberry pie, but if you just put buckle, we'll know what it is. And the information is coming up on your screen as to how you can get it. Email's the fastest. And stay with us and meet a prospective judge.
If you would like a copy of today's recipe, you may receive it by contacting us through social media as listed on the screen. When requesting a copy through the mail, be sure to include a self-addressed stamped envelope. Thank you, and please know we always appreciate hearing from our viewers.
Well, in all my years in broadcasting, was almost 40, I've never talked to somebody who is a candidate for a judgeship. And so I hope that I get educated along with all of the viewers. Welcome, Rebecca.
Thank you so much for having me.
Uh-huh. Now, when you were a little girl, did you say, I want to grow up and be a lawyer?
No.
How did that happen?
Well, it developed when I was in junior college, and my mother just encouraged me to take whatever classes were interesting. So I did that, and as I was fulfilling my prerequisites, political science was an intense interest of mine. And so when I transferred to West Virginia University to complete my undergraduate degree, I realized that I kept being pulled toward political science, and then eventually the pre-law track opened up. And I think it was because of I had a real extreme interest in environmental law at that time, the environment, and so I wanted to be able to change things and do something with my life in that regard, so law just was a natural development.
How do you define political science?
Well, political science is studying politics, really, and it was fascinating, and
The science part of it, we don't think of science in the terms of politics so much, but the term has come together. And
sure.
so, now, as you went through law school, was there a certain type of law you wanted to practice?
There was not. What I did enjoy was criminal law. I enjoyed all my classes, but when I was between my second and third year of law school, I had an internship in southern West Virginia, in Beckley, West Virginia, and it was a fascinating experience. And so after I graduated law school, I did have my first job at the first long-term job was at the public defender's office in Clearwater.
But that's interesting.
It was wonderful.
Now, the public defender, your client, whatever, they have no money, right?
Sure. They have to be found indigent. So they have to have certain minimal income requirements, and that right to representation when you cannot afford an attorney was a Supreme Court decision case, Gideon v. Wainwright, many, many years ago, and that is so that people who are facing jail time who cannot afford an attorney absolutely have a constitutional guarantee to have one. So that was my
one of our
clients.
One of our good points in America. And also she's got a couple boys. Let's show the picture of mother and sons. They are such good-looking young men. And
thank you, Andrew and Paul.
Andrew and Paul. And I'm sure that it's a balancing act.
Sure.
What you do, but that's true of a lot of women across the country.
Sure. Yeah, I would like to speak about that because after my tenure at the Public Defender's Office, I went into private practice, and with the birth of my first son, Andrew, in 2005, I didn't want to leave him. I thought I was going to continue in my career and work all day, but I couldn't do it, and so I transitioned into private practice where I've remained ever since, and it's really been a tremendous blessing to be able to work.
You call the shots, in other words.
I call the shots, and I'm very hands-on with the boys and have been completely involved in everything, and also not missed a step with my career.
It's so interesting. It's not an uncommon story that women are really into a career and then they have this baby and they don't want to leave that baby. It's that mom instinct. Now, Christian television has played kind of an important part of your life.
It has. When I started staying home with my first son, Andrew, when he was 5 months old, I caught a television program one day. It was not even a TV I ever watched. It was, Les Feldick was on. And I heard him saying some scriptures that a friend of mine had been talking to me about. And so I started watching him. That was back in the day where you can TiVo the program. So when he would nap, I would sit and watch him. And I really was drawn to Les Feldick's teaching style. And after about 5 months, I believe, is when I knew that I had a spiritual rebirth, and it completely changed my life. I've since been in touch with him. I've seen him teach down in I think it was Sarasota a number of years ago. I've spoken to him
on the Christian Television Network. His program is on right before this one, so great Bible teacher.
Really was.
And also, just real quickly, because I want to get into what is a circuit court judge. You attend First Methodist?
First United Methodist Church, downtown St. Pete.
Do you have any idea how much I love that church? My daughter was married there. They have stained glass windows and a pipe organ, and we used all of it.
Yes.
And bells. It's right downtown, and the bells were ringing when they walked out. It was a magical moment. Now, can you educate me, along with probably some of our viewers that are interested as well, what is a circuit court judge?
Well, a circuit court judge is different from a county judge. So a county court judge would handle low-level misdemeanor crimes and small claims, whereas a circuit court judge handles, high-level felony cases, including murder, death penalty type cases, family law cases. So when you're talking about divorce or adoption or time sharing, custody type issues are handled by a circuit court. Probate is handled by a circuit court, and unified family court, and then civil court, so your lawsuits that involve over a high dollar amount. So the circuit court judges have a greater, not a greater responsibility, but a different responsibility. And the circuit, there are 20 circuits in Florida. And
are they county-wise, or?
Well,
can they spill over into another county?
They can include 2 counties, and that's what the 6th Judicial Circuit is. So we actually have 2 counties in our circuit. Pasco County is part of the 6th Judicial Circuit. So not only Pinellas County voters will be voting in the election that I'm in on August 28th, but Pasco, Pinellas and Pasco. And I get a common question, well, what district? Do I have to be in this particular district, or I live in Clearwater, or I live in St. Pete? Can I vote for you? Everyone in the entire county, both Pasco and Pinellas, is able to vote for the circuit court judge. There are 5 open seats that they're going to be seeing, 5 different groups. And the reason Pasco's with us is because it's a smaller area, so it's included with us. Where unlike, say, Hillsborough County, it's its own circuit because there's enough people.
It's a big place. Okay, that leads me to the next question. How do we find out anything about these judges? As I mentioned at the top of the show, more than one time, I'm a very serious voter. I vote by mail so I can really read the things. And my platform is Christians vote. Don't complain if you don't vote. You just get yourself out and vote, or there are ways you can get I've had a ballot mailed to me for many years, but many times I've just left the judges with no reaction because I don't know one thing about them. And it is such an important position. You can't just, throw something at a dartboard.
You really can't. Well,
how can we find out?
Well, let me preface it with, you can't find out a judge's political party. So really you are left to do your own research. There are a couple ways you can find out about judges. You can attend public forums. So the Republican clubs, the Democratic clubs will invite all of the candidates to attend a forum, and then the public can come and listen. On my website, RebeccaHamiltonforJudge.com.
We have that on the screen right now.
Great. You can see my calendar of events. It will tell you where I'm at if you want to come and listen. Last week we were at the Pasco County in Hudson, the library, and different groups sponsor these forums.
Can you go online and maybe find out their comments or something about a certain case or how a case turned out?
Well, no, Arthelene, because they have not litigated any cases that have an opinion generated, because we're just lawyers. Although we do have 2 incumbents running in these 5 seats, so you probably could Google their name and find out different cases that they've been involved in. But no, my name is not on any.
Website's wonderful.
Websites are wonderful. The judicial candidates' websites are where you want to be looking. Look for experience. Key thing to look for is experience. So you want to look at how long people have been in the courtroom, how comfortable they are in the courtroom, how many trials they've
Now,
had.
what was it that made you have an extensive experience in criminal law, right? And also family. What other kind of?
I've done family law the last 4 years and have been doing criminal defense my 18 and a half years.
So I'm sure you've enjoyed it or you wouldn't have done it for 18 years, but what is it that makes you want to step up to the?
Well, I always knew that would have been a natural progression in my career. What particular time frame it was going to happen in, I thought perhaps maybe when the boys were ready to leave the house. However, what happened this last year is they have reached this different level in their development and much more independent. And what I felt was happening is that I was being prepared to do family law as a family law judge. Of course, I can do any of the areas that I'm called to do, but in particular, doing family the last 4 years has really sharpened me and become a peak focus.
Well, I bet that's interesting.
And it's difficult, but I do believe that I have a unique temperament for it. Based on my life experiences, based on my experience in the courtroom, and the care that I have for children, it is intense, my focus.
Now, is there, I think anybody can run for anything almost in the United States. Is there a platform level as an attorney that is required before you seek a judgeship?
I believe it's 5 years, if I'm not mistaken.
You don't want somebody right out of law school, in other words.
Correct. But after that, no. But we do have to be licensed attorneys.
But you have 18 years experience.
Yes, ma'am. I do.
And as we're making this program also, there's a Supreme Court judge being considered. And I think we get so inundated with politics that it might go in one ear and out the other, but it is so important. And throughout the Bible, there's a lot of judges, Old Testament, New Testament. It's a very important position, and it's very important, I think, that you have that moral character, because I'm sure you've been presented situations that it took you a long time to figure out what's right and what's wrong. Do they ever keep you awake?
Yes. Sure.
And family law, when there's children at stake, can you describe that?
I can tell you that I've been doing the criminal defense 18 and a half years, and when I started doing the family 4 years ago, the stress and anxiety over the family law cases, which comprised about 20% of my practice,
It's tougher, right?
is about 90% of my stress. Totally different. Now I have become more familiar with practicing, gotten a tougher skin with it, and there are different types of cases that present different types of stress. Some of them are not as intense. They have to do with money, and those are the easy ones, really. But when children's and families, parents' lives are in the balance, it can be stressful, especially if people are not in a good place emotionally, and really they're not.
Yeah. Does it make
Usually
you think about King Solomon, who was going to cut the baby in half?
Sure. It makes me think that, yes, I need that type of wisdom.
Yes, yes, yes. Now, the criminal, I would think that would get very interesting.
It does.
Have you ever done a murder case?
I have not done a murder case, no.
So on the criminal side, what type of cases really did you get familiar with?
Pretty much everything except murders. So I've done everything from DUI defense to battery, drug charges. There are so many criminal mischief down the line. And as a public defender, for 4.5 years, I handled 100 cases at a time, approximately.
Oh, my word.
So I was through the misdemeanor, the juvenile, and the felony division. So any crime almost on the books, I've seen it and been a part of it. I've tried over 40 cases, almost half of those jury trial cases, and spent the first 4.5 years in court almost every day. And,
I would think that your experience as public defender has been so valuable.
Truly.
And I would think there'd be a lot of young people in that, wouldn't there?
Sure, a lot of new law grads go into the public defender's office and the state attorney's office. It's very common, and it's a great beginning to the career, and really paid off in spades for me, because it's been a great way to work and to be able to be present for the children as they've been young coming up.
Yeah, if you just join me, I'm talking to Rebecca Hamilton, and she is a candidate for the 6th Circuit Court, judge of the 6th Circuit Court. And I don't know, maybe it happens all over the United States. I always thought it was kind of odd that we had a primary election in August, but we do. And that's at the time that your name will be on the ballot. Now, if you should be elected, does the circuit court judge handle every kind of, not just family, not just criminal, but everything that might, and at what level does a crime have to be to reach that?
Sure. Okay, so to answer your first question, there are 5 different divisions that a circuit court judge could be assigned to. Family law is where a lot of them go first. And they may stay there, they may be changed at some point to criminal, and then to probate, and move around.
So they just have one topic that they deal with?
Yes, there are 5 different divisions.
Okay.
So each one focuses on and usually they stay for a number of years, sometimes a lot longer, or not very long at all, depending on the dynamics.
How long before they are faced re-election?
6 years.
Okay.
To answer your question about what makes a crime go from a county court to a circuit court level, it is anything punishable by more than a year in jail, takes it out of the county jail and into the felony system. So, which is something that I would handle as a circuit court judge if elected. So the lowest level crime that is prosecuted in the circuit court is a 3rd degree felony, which is punishable by up to 5 years in prison. So if you're in the county court, you're only facing a misdemeanor of up to 1 year in Pinellas or Pasco County Jail.
What is above circuit?
The appellate court,
And then where do we go from there?
Supreme Court of Florida.
Of Florida, and then from there we would go to Washington, D.C., right? Well, I find it all so fascinating, and I've seen so many really sharp ladies. I've lived long enough to remember that ladies, you know, were making inroads into these positions. And as far as the circuit court judgeship is, if they, as you said, if they have one, I call it a subject, or you call it a division or whatever.
Yes.
So I wonder, why is that? Is it that they can really sharpen their skills on that one subject rather than a judge that gets every kind of a
I imagine
case?
that would make a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. Yes, that the same types of procedures would be duplicated
Mm-hmm.
and streamlined, and the judge would get efficient at managing that calendar. Same subject matter, probably all the way down to the clerk's office to where to assign a particular case when it comes in would go to a particular division with a particular subject matter. Yeah.
We're almost out of time, but real quickly, is there any case that you've handled that really stands out, that had a really good outcome, maybe better than you had hoped for?
Well, I had a case that was prosecuted as a crime, as a grand theft felony, so my client was facing 5 years in prison if he was convicted of this. It was really a civil contract dispute, so my frustration was that it should, in my opinion, it would have been better handled in the civil court division. Circuit court, it involved over $20,000 and numerous contracts, and it was business contract law. So what it did is it required me to really get up on a completely different area of the law, and it was so challenging to me that I felt like literally it was a David and Goliath.
Yeah, that's.
And what had happened is...
We're almost out of time. Did you win?
No, I did win, and throughout the process, I walked away saying to myself, I would have done that for free to get the experience that I did, because it was such a challenge and it was such a wonderful...
What a great
testimony.
note to end on. Congratulations. And thanks for educating us so much. I
hope I
appreciate all the knowledge you've given us. And you stay with us, or I'll meet you next time, you know, because there's no higher calling than that of a homekeeper. God bless you.
If you should miss a Homekeepers program, you can catch up by going to www.ctnonline.com. Click on CTN Programs and then on Homekeepers.